Hi and welcome back to my channel. I'm Mel. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you. If you are new here, please consider subscribing and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future posts. Now that we've got the business end out of the way, let's get talking about keto pavlova. If you've never heard of pavlova, it's actually a really popular dessert served on special occasions in Australia and New Zealand, possibly some other countries. It consists of the bottom layer is a meringue, the middle layer is some sort of cream, and you'll see how we flavor that up. And the top layer has got a selection of fruits and a jam type of thing, and maybe some leaves and coconut or some sort. I wondered myself why this dessert is called a pavlova, and not just a decorated meringue. But it is named after a Russian ballerina named Anna Pavlova who toured Australia and New Zealand in the 1920s. And what's the connotation between a Russian ballerina and a dessert? They are both light as a feather. So this pavlova is a serving of 10, and you can see it's actually really huge. The net carbs are 4.2 grams and total carbs are 4.7. And now I want to show you what this looks like on the inside. Just so you know everything there is to know about, oh my gosh, look at that mess. So how are we going to do this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And you can serve it in a, just a side plate, or you can put it in a pretty dessert dish. Here we go. Look at that. That is so good. So you can see the bottom layer is very meringue and it's crumbly, and that's exactly what it's supposed to be. And the cream layer holds it all together, and then you get a bunch of flavors with your sauce on top and your fruit. So now we have to do a taste test. Literally grab some of that. That is delicious. So I really hope you get to try this keto pavlova recipe. Let's get into the recipe now. Okay, first you will need to preheat the oven to 320 Fahrenheit or 160 Celsius. This is just to heat up the oven. We will reduce it to 212 Fahrenheit or 100 degrees Celsius later. Next, we will be creating a template. First, I measured my serving platter so the meringue will fit nicely onto the platter and allowed a little room around the borders. That worked out to be 18 by 30 centimeters for me. So I drew that on a piece of baking paper. For you, your measurements will depend on your serving platter as well. As you saw earlier, the meringue is huge, so you will have enough to fit a large serving dish. Okay, so after you have drawn the template, run a piece of butter along the outer edge of the template to allow the paper to stick to the oven tray. Then turn the baking paper over and attach it to the oven tray. Then set that aside. We are first going to prepare the meringue component of the pavlova, and for the next step you will be using your mixer and working at the stove sort of at the same time. Firstly, in a saucepan, add 1.5 cups or 330 grams of sweetener, then a half a cup of water. It should just be enough to cover the sweetener. Turn your burners on to high. While that is heating up, head over to the stand mixer and add 5 egg whites into the mixing bowl. Then add 1 tablespoon of white vinegar, 1 teaspoon of cream of tartar, and 1/8 of a teaspoon or a pinch of xanthan gum. Add the whisk attachment and mix on about a medium to high speed. When they are at soft peak stage, your syrup should be bubbling. Pour all of the syrup slowly into the egg whites. This is the way to make meringue professionally, as it ensures the sweetener is fully dissolved and you will get a silky smooth texture. Also, if you are making this for the family, the sugar quantities will be the same as the sweetener. Once all of the syrup has been poured into the mixture, continue to whisk for a further 5 minutes until the mixture is thick and glossy. The next step is optional, but I wanted to add some flavors into the meringue. I added a teaspoon of strawberry essence, and you can use vanilla essence or coconut essence. And then I added 1/3 of a cup or 30 grams of desiccated coconut. If you want just a plain meringue, you can just add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract or essence. Then fold that in until fully combined. Place the meringue into the rectangle template and using a palette knife or spatula, spread the meringue into the shape of the rectangle with waves and swirls on top. You can be as creative as you like for this part. I ended up creating a flat top because we are still going to decorate the meringue. Now reduce the oven temperature to 212 degrees Fahrenheit or 100 degrees Celsius. Then bake the pavlova for 1 hour and 20 to 1 hour and 30 minutes until dry to the touch. Then turn off the oven and leave the pavlova in the oven for at least 1 hour, or you can leave it in the oven overnight like I did, and this will dry the meringue out completely. Now we are going to make all the toppings, and first we are going to prepare the coconut cream. To a bowl, add 500 grams of sour cream, 100 grams of heavy cream, 100 grams of coconut cream, and 80 grams of sweetener, and whisk that together until you have soft peaks. Then fold in 1 tablespoon of whatever essence you used in the meringue. If you have made it ahead, you can store the coconut cream in the fridge until you're ready to decorate. Okay, so for my pavlova, I'm using cherries, but you can use any berries or even a mix of berries. And we're going to make a puree to drizzle for decoration and taste. Head back to the stove and add 6 sliced berries into a small pot or a saucepan. Then add 1 tablespoon of sweetener, 1 teaspoon of lemon juice, and next I added a teaspoon of red food coloring just for appearance. Heat up the berries, and as they heat, try to mash them up. Also add 2 tablespoons of water just to maintain a runny consistency, because as the puree cooks, it will thicken. Keep whisking and mashing until the berries are a little bit ground, like this. Add more water if you need to so you have enough sauce. Turn off the heat now and then let it cool. Then give it 1 more whisk. You should end up with about 4 tablespoons worth of puree. Once all the components are cooled, we are now ready to decorate. At this point, I would advise you to place the meringue on a serving platter. I did it after and found it a little tricky moving the meringue when it was already decorated. Place all of the coconut cream on top of the meringue and create some swirls either upwards or sideways, whichever you prefer. Add some of the berries, about 1 portion per size, and I ended up using 8. Then some mint leaves. Give the cherry puree another whisk just to loosen it up again. Then spoon onto the coconut cream however you like. Lastly, I added some shredded coconut just as a filler. And here it is, my show-stopping cherry and coconut meringue that I'll be serving on Christmas Day for dessert. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and get to make all kinds of flavors of pavlova. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and be well.